Hi, this is Vittorio going live. I wanted to talk to you guys about behavior. So I hear a lot of stuff online, and I have a friend that puts stuff online. My buddy Tomo, he does a lot of self-help stuff. And I've listened to Tony Robbins and studied a lot of psychology when I was a method actor in LA. And I often hear stuff like, a man should behave this way, or this is what women want, and the gender role thing of what you should be for the opposite sex. And I understand that purpose and I understand the psychology behind it. And there's a constant yin and yang of what you should do or not do, and then there's the detail, the nuances, the specifics of that particular relationship, and also what the person's carrying with them from the past, and also what their agenda is. And it's an art form, and I respect the art form, but it's within the confines of a duality that exists that I don't think should exist anymore, and that I believe and know can be defeated. And what I'm talking about is any up and down. I believe that that causes disease in us. And although necessary for this study, because it was a part of a study, we were studying ourselves, all the source is God and the same energy source that used to be equal. I talk about that all the time. But the point was to collect all of the fragmentation, which is in everything. In most people, you don't find something that's just pure evil or just pure good here. So we're always mixed with different perspectives at the same time simultaneously that are like the patterns and algorithms. And so my point is, in terms of behavior in the gender role, this is what I'd love to see ultimately. And my standard is what I want the new standard for male and female to be. It's also mathematical, meaning we're in deformity, it's just to what degree. And then there's a fragmentation of the beauty that we ultimately want. But time and space is malleable. We're formed this way. We're entering these forms, living in the consequential, and always reiterate that, talk about it, that we can reform and beat the laws of physics and beat the abuse and also consequence. And so and that's what the concept of heaven is based on. So what I'd like to see in that behavior, and my standard for it would be what I call the cool blue streaming. And it reminds me of Nikola Tesla's work and how he wanted to free all energy or make energy free. But I take it a step further than what he was saying and free all of the universe from any drain. So like his operation or his new technology was going to serve this system. I'm saying split the system in half, reform it, put it back together. We'll have perfect male and perfect female. And what I mean by the behavior and why I want to talk about behavior is because we're constantly struggling through whatever we're struggling through. We all have our own agenda. We all have our own problems and our own history. I think the dark in the past, the abuse can simply be erased like wiping a computer program clean and starting out new. And we only look back on it in a reflective way after the victory is had. So which is fun to do when I've had terrible things happen to me before, and then overcame it. And it's great to be able to enjoy the victory of looking back and go, wow, I can't believe I made it through that, or I achieved this great level because of it. And now I get to reflect and enjoy the victory over something that I thought was going to defeat me completely. So back to the behavior. So what I want to see is the cool blue streaming is love in its purest form, with no disease in it or agenda or flaws. It's just happening whether you like it or not, like somebody getting medicine that they badly need, whether they want to take it or not. So I equivalent to an infection being healed by antibiotics, and within a couple of days it healing. So within, I think, moments, hours, all of the past could be erased, and once that's set in motion, you feel that cool blue stream, which is love, an extreme version of it. Because the reason I restate that is because when I say love, people are used to the amounts that they feel it here. Now, again, it's mathematical and the universe is by design. So we only feel it in, I believe, watered down versions, or I know watered down versions, in the contrast, meaning what we're supposed to achieve, the end game and goal, is an extreme version of it that has only been imagined. We have to grow into it and actually live it so that when we reform or start to morph, as I call it, we'll just know internally. Our souls will become awake and alive within us in that way. So we'll become smarter as well. Bigger, stronger, smarter, and faster. And competition in the way of the past will end because it won't be the same goal and end game. The end game and goal was always to become equal again. And I often restate this also as people say, but equal to what? Because then they want to talk about the government, socialism. I'm not talking about that, or anything like that takes us down into any disease or any mindset of the past. I'm talking about growing out of it completely so that we're in a new design or communism. That's not what I'm talking about. So anyway, but the behavior will be fascinating because it'll just be happening without our free choice being able to interject and then take us back down into disease because of fear or whatever reason. or somebody else won't be able to come along and then take you out of your joy and your happiness. And those are all things synonymous with the Cool Blue Streaming, which is any mirror of love in purity, so that any abuse that you suffered or whatever, people, somebody was talking about some of that we knew that committed suicide, and I've dealt with it in my own life with people close to me that I lost to it, and, and heard many stories from people, and have had my own struggle. But the whole universe was based on being mentally ill and healthy at the same time because of duality. If you look at the whole picture of the whole source operating as one, there's a septillion planets. So I know the aliens suffer from the same similar things because it's the same design, just the story told in a different way, meaning their forms. Uh, but that's the physical world. So then they have the non-physical where we came from. Once we connect it back together, we become one again. We defeat the dark forces. And I might sound a little strange and not like what other people sound like when they're talking about societal issues, but I know I have a huge responsibility as our leader and being this far ahead. It's like becoming lucid in a dream and going, I have this opportunity now to wake everybody else up, and they'll remember then. So I've caught a lot of flack for this and a lot of my philosophy and that sort of thing, but I think that's what bravery is. I'd love to have that kind of courage shared, because a lot of people, you've been courageous in the shit that you face and things that you've overcome, but it be all over the internet, all over the television, so that you can see the kind of things that I know are possible. And the philosophy can only get us so far. The tangible is going to mean everything. It's kind of like connecting the internet together, but without all the side effects. We'll be interconnected in this sort of thing. It'll be like starting to share one mind again. So anyway, I hope this helps whoever it helped. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask me, okay?